Hey guys, welcome back to the front line. I missed you guys. I'm pulling up real late, guys, and I'm sorry for that. I was supposed to go visit my aunt this weekend. It's my mother's sister, and she's not doing well. I started this year off with a loss. My uncle, Uncle Curtis, he died on New Year's Day, and my aunt, her name is Elena. She's not doing well, guys. I was supposed to ride down there and see her, and she was a very beautiful woman. My mother's sisters were very beautiful women, as was my mother. And my aunt didn't want us to see her looking the way she is right now. I wouldn't care one way or the other what she looked like. I just remember the heart she had. You know, my aunt had a heart of gold. And that was my mom's little sister. And my mom protected her little sisters. When my grandmother's husband would do inappropriate things with them, they'd ask him for change to go to the store. He'd put that change down his pants and tell them to get it. Well, my mother stepped to him, told him, if you ever do that to my little sisters again. Well, I can't tell y'all word for word what she said, but I'll tell y'all this much. As a result of that, my mother was on the streets. She was put out the house, guys. As women, sometimes we will date men that will get us to go to extremes. And I don't know if it's already in us or if they brought out the worst in us as a result. Was it already there? This thing deep down inside, you know, where you're either going to be a true righteous woman or you're going to be a harlot. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use for the purposes of criticism, education. Guys, I had in my family a fair share of either one of those women. And I feel like it's sometimes in my life I've been either one of those women. You understand what I'm saying? But I'll tell you what. I saw something this week that reminded me, guys, that either one of those women is out there. And I was reminded of what Israel participated in at Bala Peor. Because I could swear I saw a Judahite with a Moabite, potentially. It really gave me those vibes, guys, this week. So I'm a little off track this week because, like I told you, I was supposed to go see my aunt this week. She's been given 6 months to live. My kid came down to take that ride with me. And so I spent some time with my kid, doing some family things, guys. But now I'm back with my family right here. And we're going to get back to Stephen. Just give me another week, guys. Next week, I'm spending the birthday with you guys. What do you know? My birthday is next Saturday, guys. I'm spending it with you guys. I can't wait. We're going to get right on into Stephen. But right now, I only have a little bit of time, guys. Got to go to work tomorrow. But I do want to do an episode. And I want to talk about this. This was insane, what we saw this week. I felt like we saw a Judahite. I mean, this dude always claiming he's an Israelite, right? That he is not. He can't be anti-Shemitic because he's from Shem. He's claiming, right? So I personally believe we saw a Judahite with his foreign women this week do something that reminded me of a story we heard about. This is how they came back to power. Remember Xerxes, guys, right? Y'all gotta remember Xerxes, right? Who asked Vashti to come down with just her crown on. We saw this week, guys, this right here. I don't like to get too pop culture, right? But this is who Yeezy doing some. Let's zoom in up here because I don't want the bottom one to show too much. This is how you show up with your wife, your Barbie, your foreign woman. Now the irony is, her last name should translate to censor, but it don't look like she can be censored now, do it? And look at this fool standing back for the world to watch your significant other like this. This is become mainstream, guys. This is this harlot spirit that's out there. We've seen this before, guys. We've seen it before. And look, when I tell you, look, the world is so lucky to have me. Why? So we can watch you do stuff like this with your significant other while you stand back for the world to see. The crack of your wife's behind. The world is so lucky to have you. I don't do too much pop culture, guys. But this was shocking. Yes, we've seen people parade around half naked, but with the what they're saying is that there was no strategically placed things to conceal. It just really gave me Xerxes vibes, guys. It really did. This ain't a woman from my nation, I don't believe. I mean, they did intermarry, though, so I could be mistaken. But no matter what, she's somebody's daughter, right, guys? She's somebody's daughter. And if this was my child, I wouldn't want to see him at all. I wouldn't want to see him at all. Because I don't believe this girl was dressing like this prior to this relationship, right? I didn't see any pictures of her prior to that. But, I'm calling her a Moabite for a reason, guys. It's like some sort of spirit there, right, guys? That's giving me Moabite vibes right now. I could be mistaken. If it ain't Moabite vibes, it's definitely Esther vibes. Yeah, because you could believe Esther pleased the king somehow. Remember, he wanted Vashti to come out in just her crown. And did she not come out if your hair is your crown, right? Did this woman not come out in just her crown? I would say she did. Look, she came out in just her crown. This is what Xerxes wanted. So we got God's gift playing Xerxes this week, guys. Check it out. And we got what looks to be like a Moabite woman, right? This is a woman willing to do things in front of the congregation. Remember, Phineas had to slay one of these women. Yes, I'm bringing two stories to the table, but I'm showing you how. Remember last week, I told y'all this sexual immorality. Remember when we talked about, or it might have been the week before, when we talked about Judah sleeping with Tamar, how this sexual immorality followed Judah. And so did some sort of STD. Not kidding, guys. When we break down David and his whole family line, there is some sort of disease that's following them. A whole army is wiped out in a night, practically. These people have some sort of, perhaps, what's the word I want? Warfare. You know, medical warfare or biological warfare that they're using with some sort of disease that's following the Judahites. And we could get into that in a future episode. But I want to focus on Stephen next week. I don't want to lose track on that one, guys. But this week, I want to talk real quick about what we keep seeing. We keep seeing this push for the men of Israel to get you one. To get you one of these right here. I'm just saying. This seems to be being pushed in our faces. This intermingling of nations, guys. And whether it's the flip, I'm highlighting this because we were seeing history repeat itself. Ancient history. In this act, we see her come out in just her crown. This is what Xerxes wanted. So we see him as Xerxes this week. We see her do this in front of a whole congregation, guys. So the two of these stories are both relevant to this one act. Okay, so yes, I'm speaking to two stories in one act. But I want to bring in this one because what he is showing you is to get you a woman from another nation, guys. Listen to this. When Israel lived in Shittim, the people began to commit sexual immorality with the daughters of Moab. Do y'all know that Moab is basically in the southern kingdom, guys? When David is hiding from Saul, he hides his parents in Moab, guys. Judah and Moab are best friends, guys. If I decide that to keep my family, my parents for all of this, okay? My parents at that. I need to keep my parents safe from my supposed nation, that I go hide them in another nation like Moab. Something's not right, okay? Why would I not hide them amongst Israel if I'm, quote, Israel? This is why I keep highlighting Judah to you guys. He hid his family in Moab. So there's this intermingling of Moab for a long time, guys. I told you this book is not this old. These brothels that they make in here, these are these damn brothels that they are making every, what is this? There is a holiday, guys, where they have to make a Sukkot. They make these booth guys on Sukkot for this holiday. And this holiday, to me, is linked to these whorehouses in the wild, wild west, guys, that we see. That movie that, I want to say it was Jay-Z or somebody did not long ago, where they showed you these whorehouses, guys. This is what it's looking like was going on during this time, guys. Remember, I tell you, if Leah's boys are the cowboys and we are the Indians, don't tell me this didn't happen in the Western time. So where were they doing this at? If not in these whorehouses. All right, let's read the story. I picture that time though, guys. Let's go. When Israel lived in Shittim, the people began to commit sexual immorality with the daughters of Moab. These women invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods. Then the people ate and bowed down to their gods. When Israel joined themselves to Baal Peor, the anger of the Lord flared up against Israel. The Lord said to Moses, "Arrest all the leaders of the people and hang them up before the Lord in broad daylight." There's that hang them up in broad daylight thing again, guys. All right? Never forget. Never forget, didn't Joshua have to do that? He had to hang them on stakes towards the sunlight. Remember, I told you that's an odd way of asking for some people to be killed. All right, so, but anyway, they were supposed to be hanged in broad daylight so that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. So Moses said to the judges of Israel, "Each of you must execute those of his men who were joined to Baal Peor." Just then one Israelite came and brought his brother's Midianite woman in the plain view of Moses and of the whole community of the Israelites, while they were weeping at the entrance of the tent of meeting. So this is supposed to be like, a sacred place. He's bringing this Moabite woman into what's a sacred place. When Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he got up from amongst the assembly. He took a javelin in his hand and went after the Israelite man into the tent, and thrust through the Israelite man into the woman's abdomen. So the plague was stopped from the Israelites. Those that died in the plague were 24,000. What I told y'all guys. There was some sort of disease that followed them. And I kind of feel like this is the disease that's linked to the Y, which is also linked to the herpetic viruses, guys. I'm telling you something. This is this ancient disorder, right? This ancient plague that was following Judah. All right, let's just call it what it was. But they were keeping up with some sexual immorality, so we understand why. Okay, the children of Lot and Lot were, was it Moab and Ammon? Right. You understand what I'm saying? So um, it was already founded on some. You could see how some sort of plague would be brewing and how their births were founded. Okay, so let's keep going. The aftermath. Now remember, now Moses doesn't, I don't see where Moses tells them to hang them towards the sun. He tells them to wipe the people out. So was that even the correct way to kill them? But I don't want to let me not get off track, guys. Let's keep going. The Lord spoke to Moses, Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned my anger away from the Israelites, when he manifested such zeal for my sake among them, so that I did not consume the Israelites in my zeal. Therefore announce, I'm going to give him my covenant of peace. So it will be to him and his descendants after him, a covenant of a permanent priesthood, because he has been zealous for his God and has made atonement for the Israelites. All right. So the Midianite woman was Zimri, son of Salu, a leader of a clan of the Simeonites. Sorry, that was the man. And of the Midianite woman who was killed was Kazi, the daughter of Zur. Okay, he was a leader over the people of a clan of Midian. Sorry, the Midianites I thought was one of Abraham's kids too, though. All right, but anyway, the Lord spoke to Moses, bring trouble to the Midianites. Yeah, sorry, they started out with the Moabites, but somehow we brought in the Midianites too. So, I don't know how that happened, but no matter what, it was a foreign woman, guys. Sorry, that right there. It was a foreign woman, no matter what. Destroy them because they bring trouble to you by their treachery with which they have deceived you in the matter of Peor, in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of the prince of Midian, their sister who was killed on the day of the plague that happened as a result of Peor. So yeah, she was stabbed through her stomach, a foreign woman. They wasn't playing that, bring this woman in front of the congregation and flaunt her around, sexually immoral, this show in front of everybody. No, hell no. You understand what I'm saying? You had to get dealt with because of that. Okay? That's what they did in the ancient times. Phineas rose up and he dealt with it. You wasn't going to be able to do nothing like this in front of our congregation. Okay, back in the days, this wasn't happening. So I just wanted to show y'all how this probably a ritual of his. He might be giving a shout out to Xerxes for all I know, because Xerxes is what gave way to the patriarchy, guys. This cross right here, look who holding it. Stephen the First, guys. This double cross right here. I mean, Britain, a double cross, right? But this cross right here is the patriarchal cross. Okay? And in the patriarchy, you would get a woman to do something like this. This woman who wanted to give her power over. Because never forget, she is a daughter. And if she was my daughter, I'd be livid. You understand what I'm saying? I would be livid. She's a daughter, no matter what, guys. She's somebody's daughter. But he played Xerxes this week. And he got her to do something that not even this queen right here was going to do. Vashti, the forgotten queen of Persia. And this story right here, this story got an interesting viewpoint that I hadn't even caught myself, guys. A real interesting one. Because we've gone over that book of Esther. How Esther was willing to do any and everything to get in that position, guys. And I question, what kind of sexual acts did they teach Esther? All right, guys, we all adults, guys. I think they taught Esther how to perform an oral act on the king, guys. I really do. Esther is brought up with a bunch of men. I just got to call it how I'm guessing it, guys. And I'm not calling any of mother's sons any type of bad men. If you're listening, I don't think you're that type of man, so I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the kind that are not mama's sons. These Judahite men, our wayward cousins. All we have seen is sexual immorality from our wayward cousins. We've been caught up a few times ourselves, so they tell us, but not like them. All we've been reading about in this book that came back is Judah. Check this out. In the biblical book of Esther, Vashti appears only briefly, the first wife of King Xerxes. She refuses her king's summons to parade before his friends at a party, and after the king and his advisors hold an emergency consultation about her shocking insubordination, is summarily banished. This paves the way for the story to unfold. Xerxes must find a new queen and better advisor. Enter Esther and Haman, the heroine and villain. But though some might see Vashti as more plot device than character, both ancient and modern interpretations of Esther have given her a far more interesting backstory. The Babylonian Talmud, for instance, paints her as an evil queen who beats her Jewish maids and ultimately gets what she deserves, a kind of prelude to the triumphant ending of the book of the Midrash. Esther Rappa, in contrast, imagines her as a noble and tragic heroine who had the only genuine claim to the throne. You heard that? It said that Vashti was the one with the throne, with the claim to the throne, y'all. That it was never really Xerxes, and I didn't peep that. But they're gonna show you something in it that I didn't even peep myself, and I'm pretty good, and y'all know that, guys. So I like that we bringing this in to further assault that book of Esther, guys. Check it out. This is still relevant because remember, it's Xerxes who brings in the patriarchal law that says every man is king, no matter if he is a king or a slave. He is king in his home. So that patriarchal cross is very relevant. This stunt that this dude did this week is very relevant. Check it out, guys. It says that that's right, Vashti, not Xerxes, right here, should have ruled Persia. Some modern interpreters delight in her staunch refusal to be demeaned by the king and take her to be a feminine icon. So who was the real Vashti? In this piece, I offer a composite portrait based on the many different interpretations, okay? Vashti is not a feeble wife who made a fatal mistake when she opposes her odious husband, demeaning demand, but a royal princess with the only true claim to the throne, navigating a hornet's nest of regional politics in which male-female power dynamics are merely a smokescreen for a palace coup. Sorry, coup. I said a coup like it was a chicken coup. Good gosh. A coup, guys. That word's being thrown around right now, guys. Okay? It says she fails, of course, but not without putting up one heck of a fight. It happens in the days of Xerxes, Esther 1:1. The megillah opens up with a display of rudeness. Why, the rabbi wonders, does the text fail to note the king's title? Shouldn't it have read, it happened in the days of King Xerxes? Do you see what they're pointing out? That when Esther 1:1 opens up right here, it doesn't say it happened in the day of King Xerxes. It says it happens in the day of Xerxes. So they're showing you that it didn't say King Xerxes. That went over my head, guys. I hadn't noticed that. The reason the rabbi infers is because technically it was true. Xerxes was not yet king. He was merely angling to become the monarch of a newly formed empire. Xerxes, when we first meet him, is a man of war whose formidable tactics have just contributed to the formation of the Persian Median Empire, a now impressive right here, 127 provinces in size. In the wake of this massive expansion, there's a power struggle for control of the new empire. His military success renders him a plausible candidate for the ruler. But someone else has a more legitimate claim to the throne. The new Persian Empire succeeds the old Persian Empire, which had recently been ruled by Belshazzar, who is familiar to us from the book of Daniel. Hold up, we got to get back to that. It was getting good. Go back. Sorry, guys. Yeah, from the book of Daniel. Belshazzar's surviving heir is his granddaughter Vashti. Okay, so now we get to find out more about Vashti's background. She is of noble background. She's not just somebody who just won the war. She's a princess, okay? So, but see, he's going to put his might in control and raise up the might of every man, okay? Remember, there's that text that I did this by my might. That that somebody was punished back in the days for saying that, you might look out and say you did this by the might of your own hand. Or was it his arm? Something to that nature, guys. I'm going to have to look up that verse for y'all later on. Or if somebody remembers it, put it down in the comments, guys. So check it out. Instead, they get Esther, who's willing to do any and everything to get in there and be a new queen. Check it out. Not Vashti. Okay, it says she's the daughter of Belshazzar, which incidentally makes her also the great-granddaughter of Nebuchadnezzar himself, the evil Assyrian king who destroys the first temple and sent the Jews into exile. This is one reason the rabbis read her as particularly punishing towards her Jewish servants. The Midrash explains how the beautiful and precocious young Vashti was spared by Darius the Mede on the night when Daniel read the proverbial writing on the wall and predicted the assassination of Belshazzar, which was her grandfather. Darius used Vashti to cement his legacy by marrying her to one of his most faithful vassals, a promising young military man named Xerxes. But Xerxes, as his Greek enemies called him, was a better leader in wartime than in peace, and he bitterly resented his role as the queen's consort. Unused as he was to the domestic matters, he plotted to wrest control of the state away from his royal wife and consolidate, there goes that consolidation word, right? All matters into his grasping hands. What I tell you guys. In the 3rd year of Xerxes' reign, Xerxes put his plan into action. For 6 long months, he wined and dined the most important players in the empire, the military men of Persia and Media, the wealthy patricians. That's funny, that's my mama's name. The nobles. My mother's name is Noble Home, Patricia Himes. If I had my mother's last name, guys, as I should, instead of Andrews as a ruse, it would be Himes. My middle name is Latrice. It would be Guard the Noble Home. I'm trying to. So, yeah, the patricians, guys, the wealthy patricians, and the regional governors. He greased palms. Why do I keep pressing stuff? It says he greased the palms, right? And scratched the backs in a splendid display right here of wealth and power, right? Down here. Then for 7 days he threw the palace gardens wide open to every municipal worker in Shushan. Guys, that was right here in Tucson, the capital, so that the lowliest secretaries watch my episode, guys. Shushan is Tucson. You can hear it. This was where they would go to come for the winter months to stay warm. They do that still to this day, guys. They come to the snowbirds leave whatever place they live that would be cold, and they come to Tucson and stay here for the winter months. All right, and then they leave before the summer comes because they know it's gonna get hot as hell out here. Okay, so the capital, so that the lowliest secretary and janitors could drink at the open bar. What did I tell y'all, guys? He was for the men. He was gonna make sure that all of the men had it was like he was like a Trump of this time, guys. He was for the patriarchy, and he was going to instill laws that was going to benefit the men. Okay, guys. So, Xerxes on the 7th day, right here, made sure to drink enough wine that whatever happened next could be put down to the foibles of an inebriated but captivating monarch, rather than a carefully staged palace coup. 187 days in the making. Vashti the queen also made a feast for the women of the royal household of King Ahasuerus. So now he's king. By the time we get to Esther 1 and 9, he is king. There are overt political overtones of Vashti's parallel party. While he's drinking with the royal janitors, I'm done, who hold the keys to the secret exits, and the royal secretaries, who know whether incriminating documents have been destroyed or merely filed away. Vashti only dines to entertain the wealthiest and most noble ladies of Persia and Media. Xerxes is betraying his plebeian origins. Vashti is affirming her royal blood. By doing so, she's playing right into his scheme. Okay. So, they just tell you how this story plays out, and then eventually she is deposed, removed from office suddenly, forcefully. You can't anything unless it once was something. Right, guys? Remember, I showed y'all that word, denigrate. It's going to tell you to see Negro. How is that word going to tell you to see Negro? It's telling you you are defamed. That suffix, that prefix, anything, denote, depose, dethrone. These are words that say you once had something and now it was taken away. So for me, that word depose kind of further solidifies that it was Vashti that was that queen. Just like in this picture, guys, I told you, she might not be a daughter of Israel, but she is a daughter. She's not under a curse, man. But she just put herself under one. Yeah, she did. When she chose to do this, she just put herself under one. That harlot spirit. She chose not to be modest, like Vashti. When Vashti refused to come out in the way in which he told her to, and just her crown. She chose to do something different. This daughter, possibly, of Moab, with her patriarchal king, her Baal, because you best believe that's her Lord. And this is what Judah always doing it for. We see him till today, guys. That's why I'm showing you this. This thing is still happening till today. And he thinks he's a king and that we should be, what was his exact words? Lucky to have him. Fair use for the purposes of education and criticism. No one should be doing that. Much love, guys. I'll see you guys next week. We're going to talk about this man right here and how this patriarchy is giving people the right to be kings. Whether you're the janitor or royalty. Or if you think you royalty, right? Jesus. Much love, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys.